Hi, everybody. Today I'm here to talk about a 1956 atomic age science fiction slash horror movie called The Werewolf. This is a movie that I saw on TV many times growing up, and it really looks better now, better than it ever has here in this box set that I picked up. It's a Blu-ray set, and it's called Cold War Creatures, and it also adds 4 films from Sam Katzman. And we have in this particular set, we have Creature with the Atom Brain, we have Zombies of Moratau, and The Giant Claw. And the 4th film is The Werewolf. And I like the way, before I talk about the actual movie, I like the way, this is from Arrow, by the way, the company is Arrow. You can have that kind of artwork for The Werewolf, or you can open it up and get this, which is a little more of a standard kind of movie poster, which I actually like this. Yeah, that's the one that's the most common image for this movie. All right, let's talk about The Werewolf a little bit. Quality looks great on this, by the way, this high definition Blu-ray. All right, let's discuss it. It starts out with a man who is kind of like unkempt and disheveled, and he's in a suit, and he is in a town, a rural town in wintertime. There was a little bit of snow on the ground. It's called Mountain Crest, the town. And he has amnesia, doesn't know who he is, doesn't know what he's doing in this town, doesn't even know if he lives in this town. And what happens is he gets into a tussle with a bully, and as soon as he gets stressed out, he turns into a werewolf. And I was thinking, when watching this movie again, how that's an idea that was later developed in The Incredible Hulk. You know, he turns into the Hulk, Dr. Banner, when he's upset, stressed out, angry, or something like that. That's exactly what kind of happens to this particular werewolf. This is not a werewolf who turns into the creature during the full moon. It's more like when he's upset or angered or afraid. And I like that bit about this movie, as opposed to the usual full moon at night. I really like the surroundings here. As I said, it's a nice look. Although I'm not a big fan of winter myself, I prefer the summer. I like the trees, snow-covered trees, and the ground and everything. It's a nice looking atmosphere here. This particular man, his name is Duncan Marsh, who has a little bit of a memory of 2 doctors who kind of talked to him and maybe treated him after what he thinks was an automobile crash. He remembers a car crash, and it's the last thing he can recall. And it turns out that these 2 doctors, who are rather unscrupulous to say the least, they are experimenting on a really bizarre plot, which is typical of the 50s. They injected this man with irradiated wolf serum. And it's never before been used on human beings. The doctors believe that once they perfect this thing, this serum will allow just a selected group of people chosen by them to survive an imminent nuclear holocaust. And it's a side effect that you just happen to turn into a wolf. Well, this was the, unwilling, unknowing, innocent guinea pig here, Duncan Marsh. And his family tries to find him, his wife and his child, and there's a little bit of mayhem along the way, and of course you get some wolf scenes. I got to say, the transformation here isn't bad. The transformation scenes are not bad here. Also, I like the wolf makeup. The wolf makeup is pretty decent. I like it overall, this movie. The problem is, if there is to be a problem, it's a little on the low on action side. You know what I mean? It's kind of not as thrilling and not as compelling, and I don't want to say action oriented as it should be. It's just a little more, and dull is a word I don't want to use, because if you say dull, that turns people off right away. I wouldn't say it's dull, but it's laid back, and that's the only problem I've had with this. Stephen Ritch, who I think this might be his first role, because it says introducing Stephen Ritch, but then it says here on the thing, he was also in the movie Murder by Contract, and he's the star. He plays the unfortunate man who's very upset and doesn't know what happened to him and wants to find out, and is really kind of disoriented. I think he does a pretty decent job, actually, in the role. As I said, the werewolf makeup is good, and the few werewolf scenes we get are interesting. You know, there are a couple of werewolf attacks. I think three, maybe, on the top of my head, and they're all visually exciting. But there's still something about it where other times it just gets kind of like easy going when you don't see the those particular scenes with the wolf. So I think that's the only thing that I would say as a demerit against it. I'm just falling short of calling this The Werewolf from 1956. Not a very, exciting title either. Film, a good film. I wouldn't say it's good. I'd say it's better than average. This is a better than average werewolf film. Worth seeing by anybody who likes 50s horror movies or old monsters. It's worth seeing, definitely. Whether you want to give it a second watch or not, I don't know. Also in this film, I should mention before I forget, is Don McGowan. Don McGowan plays the sheriff, and a lot of people who love Universal monster films will know him as playing the creature from the Black Lagoon in the third film of the Universal series called The Creature Walks Among Us, where in that film, the creature gets operated on, loses his gills, and becomes a land-dwelling creature in a shirt and pants. And he walks around. He's this big hulking creation, so to speak, or mutation after the doctors got done with him. That's Don McGowan in that, and Don McGowan plays the sheriff here, so you get to see him without his creature appliance on. Okay, so that's it. The Werewolf. It's a good time. It's not a particularly great film.